Hello there. Will more European countries follow Denmark and ban the burning of the Koran? You can see such a law being passed by a future UK government as time goes on, can't you? Passing a law designed to keep a pressure cooker lid on any future unrest. Denmark's legislature passed a law yesterday that makes it illegal to not only burn, cut up or deface the Koran, but also to burn, cut up or deface any other holy book from a religion recognised by the Danish government. That would include the Bible and the Torah, for example. So it's all fair then, as it covers all recognised religions. Well, on the face of it, yes. But why bring in such a law? What's the real truth? More on that in a moment. The new law outlaws the burning, tearing, defacing and defiling of any holy book, either in public or via a video that is intended to be shared widely. And the punishment for breaking this law is a fine or up to 2 years in prison. But I wonder what would happen if someone broke this Danish law and took it as a freedom of expression issue right up to the European Courts of Human Rights. Surely someone will. Now the question I have is, has there been a lot of public Torah burning going on in Denmark? Maybe a lot of Bibles were being destroyed on massive bonfires. No, the truth is that Denmark has seen a lot of Koran burnings that provoked outrage across the Muslim world and damaged diplomatic relations with some countries. It was reported in July this year that far-right demonstrators burned copies of the Koran in front of the Egyptian, Iraqi and Turkish embassies in Copenhagen, prompting the Iraqi Foreign Ministry to call on EU authorities to quickly reconsider so-called freedom of expression and the right to demonstrate. While the Egyptian government called the Danish ambassador in for a lambasting, leading to their Justice Minister Peter Hummelgaard saying earlier this year that the Danish government would be putting forward a bill to prohibit the inappropriate treatment of objects of significant religious importance to a religious community. And also, when referring to the demonstrations, he said that such demonstrations can hurt Denmark's relations to other nations, our interests, and ultimately our safety. Ultimately, our safety. And that bill has now been passed by the Danish legislature and is on its way to Queen Margaret to get royal assent and become law later this month. All in response to official Danish police figures showing there were 483 cases of book or flag burnings in the 3 months from the 21st of July to the 24th of October. Now, the Danish Ministry of Justice said that the purpose of the law is to counter the systemic mockery that, among other things, has contributed to intensifying the potential for terrorism in Denmark. While Reuters tells it like it is by reporting, Denmark's parliament on Thursday passed a law making it illegal to burn the Koran in public places, seeking to de-escalate tensions with Muslim countries after a spate of Danish protests during which Islam's holy book was burned, causing outrage. No hint that burning other holy books like Bibles and Torahs have much to do with it, even though it's part of the law. But it's obviously the far right at work again. But I do find it strange that the far right hasn't also been burning the Torah. I thought that particular religion was the one the far right always targeted. Look back on the Second World War and look at who sided with who where religions were concerned. So you do have to stand back and ask yourself a few questions, don't you? I mean, It really is important to understand the true root of any problem before reacting with such wide-ranging laws that can and will impinge on the freedom of expression and the right to demonstrate, exactly as the Iraqi embassy asked the EU to do. And Denmark is leading the way. So is there any proof it actually is the far right in Denmark doing this? Or could it be some other disgruntled section of Danish society? A section of society that is being automatically labelled as far right in the usual knee-jerk reaction way, thus allowing the government to expend more time and more money as usual on cracking down on the far right. That's how it works, isn't it? But the real issue here is that no one's asking the simple question: why are some people burning copies of the Koran? Is it too hard a question to ask? Or is it a way of avoiding hearing an answer? Is it just easier to say far-right bigots and just ban the practice and the whole problem will go away and peace will reign forever? Sadly, that's not how these things develop. On one side there is an intolerance of a certain book being defiled, and on the other side is an intolerance of something else that no one wants to even think about, let alone address. And that can't be simple Islamophobia from a few bigots, or there'd be no need for such a wide-ranging law. And now no doubt there will be cases being brought for all manner of religions to be recognised in Denmark so as to obtain some protection. The religion of net zero springs to mind. And the Church of Scientology has been trying to establish itself in Denmark for some time. Now what Denmark is doing is trying, and I say trying, to balance the right to freedom of expression against the likelihood of a diplomatic or violent reaction to certain books being burned. But what they've achieved is the strengthening of the hand of intolerant religions, at the expense of the freedom of expression. And many see this as an external power imposing this restriction on the people of Denmark. Not a good look. Now the centrist coalition government of Denmark says that there are still other legal ways to criticise religion. That this holy book burning ban will have negligible impact on the freedom of expression. I'm not sure they've grasped how this actually works. The next set of criticisms against a certain religion emanating from Denmark will be met with an equal response as happened as a result of the Koran burnings, that would require that next type of criticism, whatever form it takes, to also be banned. And so it will go on, the well-trodden path of putting safety over freedom, where in the end you end up with neither safety nor freedom. But this begs the question, is the Danish government really oblivious to this one-way religious ratchet of control? Or do they think that a certain tipping point has been reached, where freedom of expression must start to be eroded rather than face and deal with a harsh reality? But in the end, appeasement is appeasement.